So this is a very unusual situation to be in, and if you're asking yourself what's going on or how did this happen, let me explain. So I'm planning on releasing a demo version of this game, and for that reason I spent a lot of time refining the gameplay of the game. And when I say a lot, what I really mean is none, because the original core gameplay was that players would have to defend their base and fend off waves of enemies. That's it. It's not boring, but it has problems. The biggest problem is that all players are glued to one place on the map while the rest of the map remains unexplored. And this really bothered me. Plus there are already games that have this wave-based gameplay or something similar, so I decided that I'm gonna come up with something new. And I did. Instead of just having to kill a bunch of enemies to win, players will have to complete a series of tasks around the map in order to win, like solving a puzzle, infiltrating a facility, or having to protect a train carrying a nuclear weapon. But we are still at a point where I didn't have any ideas, so I asked the all-knowing mind and it gave me a pretty good list of ideas, and one of those ideas was to protect a slow-moving vehicle, which was a light bulb moment for me, because if you've ever played Team Fortress 2, then you know there was a game mode called Payload Race, where you and your team have to push a minecart with a bomb and drop it into the enemy base, but instead of a minecart, it's a whole train. So I got to work. Now this was quite difficult to make and I'm not gonna go into details, so let's just move on. I then made a little test map to see how the train behaves on the ground and when there is chaos all around. Step 3, I wasted about 2 hours making a map that I realized was completely awful because I didn't have a plan. Step 4, I made a plan. In step 5, I started making the final map. Step 6, I made everything beautiful. And finally I added these saw blades onto the train because sometimes players would be blasted into the space if standing in front of the train. And now that it's all done, let me explain how this mission works. So all players spawn on this landing site and make their way into the mining site where a train awaits them. Now this train carries a nuclear payload. On the side of the train there are 4 light bulbs indicating the condition of the payload. So green light means everything is okay, red light means critical condition, and when all of them are blinking then you know it's about to explode and it's game over. Now the goal is to protect the train as it makes its way across the map, but it's not that easy because the map has 3 high intensity areas where the train stops and a huge wave of enemies swarms the train. But once you've survived all of this, then the train gets to the landing site where this crane safely transports the payload onto the spaceship. And while it's doing its job, this is the perfect time for a boss fight. And if you kill the boss, then you have successfully completed the mission. Now to be clear, this is not the only mission this map can have, because there is also a mission which includes an underground factory. But if you want to know more, you can also join our Discord server where I will be posting updates, and you can also give your ideas for the game. And that's everything, so I hope you enjoyed and see you next time.